Hi, it's Roger Keplinger with you. In this lesson, I'd like to first send this lesson out to a few of my students out there that I've been working with on what particular kind of flavor you're playing in at any moment. And over the years, through all my years of teaching and just being in music, I've come up with three main flavors that you're in. You're either in the major, or you're in its relative minor, or you're in the major's letter name, blues. Alright, so you're either in the major, the minor, or the blues. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today in this lesson. Now, I'm going to suggest that you print out and take a look at my keys and chords finder. It's a lot of information that you may not understand right at the moment. In fact, if you can't form handfuls of our chords already, you might want to go back and kind of get a little bit more up to speed with that, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So off we go. We're going to keep this lesson centered in the key of C. Alright, so in the key of C, and I don't expect you to be able to see this, you should be printing it out and taking a look at it. Thank you very much. In the key of C, your 7 friends are that you can play with: C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. Those are your 7 chords that you have to make music with as allowed by music law. So C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B minor, actually B diminished, sorry about that, B diminished, and you're back at C major. Now, you can put those chords together in any progression you'd like, and you're within the boundaries of diatonic harmony, making musical sense and not breaking any musical rules. Now, that having been said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play in the major. We're going to play in C major. So the first chord I'm going to play, and I'm going to create a little practice track here, is going to be C major. 1, 2, here I go. C major, then I'm going to go to the 4 chord, which is F major, then to the 5 chord, which is G major, back to the 4 chord, and then the 1 chord again, and then the 5 chord. And that's going to be my practice track right there. Alright, so that's just going to go round and round. So the first chord you hear is C major, so your ears want to go back to that at the end of the section. So I'm going to play the C major scale over that. Here I go. And it all sounds very right to your ears, hopefully, with any luck. So that's playing in the major. Okay, you start your chord progression with C major, therefore your ear wants to return to that. And by the way, in case I forgot to mention it, globally, for the major and the minor, you're going to use C major, the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So, now, that's the major, alright? The only difference between playing in the major and using the major pentatonic, everyone thinks that's such a crazy different thing. It's not. In fact, most of the soloing I was just doing there was using the major pentatonic. All the major pentatonic would be is the C major scale, C, D, E, F. That's the 4th degree. Just don't play the Fs. G, A, and B is the 7th note in the scale. You just don't play that either. So the Fs and the Bs, you just don't play them, and you will sound magically pentatonic. Check out the sound of it. As opposed to major, if I re-include the Bs, F, they don't sound bad. It's just purely, as near as I can tell, just kind of a preferential choice as to whether you want to sound pentatonic or use the full major. All right, so that's playing in the major. Now let's switch over to thinking about playing in the relative minor. The relative minor of any major key is the 6th degree, boom, or the 6th chord, okay? And in the case of C major, it's A minor. So all we're going to do to switch your ears to thinking that you're in A minor as opposed to C major is I'm just going to play a chord progression that starts with A minor. And we're going to do that right now. So here I go. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there you go. So I played A minor to G major to F major, and I think I went back to G major. I'm going to use the same scale, C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But now, because we're suggesting that it's the relative minor, A minor, you could actually use those same notes, but start on A and play A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. All that does is it makes for a different scale formula. If you play from C to C, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, that gives you the sound of major scale. If we play from A to A using those same notes, A, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, it's a different series of whole steps and half steps, depending on which note you start on and play to. It's the same letter name. So therein lies the difference. It's more of a sound thing though. Let's listen to the way A minor sounds. I'm playing from the C major scale. My first chord is A minor. All right. All right, and once again, I could make that A minor natural minor scale is what we call it when you use all 7 notes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. I could make that pentatonic minor by, again, leaving out the B's and the F's. So 1, 2, the B note is actually the 2nd note in the A minor scale, C, D, E, F, and it ends up being the 6th degree or note in the A minor scale. So leave the B's and the F's out and you get this minor pentatonic A, C, D, E, G, A scale. A minor pentatonic. It's very guitar friendly. Here we go. Very cool. So that's playing in the minor. So the difference between playing the major and the minor, relative major and minor, is what chord you emphasize as the first chord. We're in globally C major. When I start my chord progression with C major, I'm suggesting that we're in C major, not A minor. If I start my chord progression with A minor, my ear is going to want to return to A minor at the end of the phrase, and I hear it as being A minor, being in the minor. So this is more of a listening type thing. Now let's go and play C blues. All right, this is the 3rd flavor that we generally tend to hear out there in the world of music. It doesn't make any sense to play the scale that we're about to play over our chord progression. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is record a 1-4-5 chord progression, key of C. So I'm going to play C major to F major, G major, probably back to F major, and then C. So here I go. So 1, So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, C, which is the 1 chord in C major, the 4 chord, which is F. I'm playing them as power chords. That's the 5 chord and the 4 chord. And that'll be our practice track. Now all I did was just play C major, F major, and G major as power chords as opposed to some other type of chord form. Alright, now, are you ready? To sound blues or bluesy in the key of C, you would employ or play the C minor pentatonic blues scale over C major, F major, and G major chords. Musically speaking, this does not add up, but listen to how it sounds. You'll think it sounds familiar. 1, 2, 3. Probably doesn't sound horrible to your ears because we've grown used to hearing that scale being played over that chord progression for decades and decades now. And although it doesn't necessarily make musical sense, no, it doesn't make musical sense, period. It's kind of an anomaly that it sounds good at all. And you'll notice when you play the blues, you tend to have to kind of bend notes to make them sound right. It's because those notes you're playing, some of them, are not necessarily the right notes to be playing over those chords in the first place. So I'd like to recap. I hope this has been a helpful lesson. This lesson has been about the 3 flavors that you hear out there more often than not. There are others, but these are the bigs. You hear playing in the major. Okay. You hear being in its relative minor. And you also hear being in the blues. In this lesson, I centered myself in the key of C, and I played C major style, okay. I played A minor, which is the relative minor of C major. The 6th chord in every key is its relative minor, okay. And then I also played in, remember we're in C major, I played the C blues. Okay, alright. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful. Just watch the video more than a few times and hopefully it will sink in. You can use your keys and chords charts, by the way, to find yourself in any other key. Alright, this all translates straight down. If we go to the next key, which is G, you could be in either G major, or the 6th chord is E minor. You can be in E minor, the relative minor, or back to the 1 chord, which is G. You could also be in the G blues by playing the G minor pentatonic blues scale pattern over it, and don't ask questions why. Alright, this has been Roger Keplinger with just kind of a one-off lesson on the various flavors that you hear out there. Okay, it's the blues is very popular, but it's also a tad confusing. It doesn't add up musically, and it never will. It's just a really cool sound, but it's hard to teach. So you guys take care. We'll see you at the next lesson. Bye-bye.